Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you a bookish version of the Never Have I Ever game. If you're not familiar with the concept, this game just goes by answering questions that start with Never Have I Ever, and usually if the answer for the question is that you have done the answer, you have to take a sip of an alcoholic drink, and if not, you need not. Since I don't consume alcohol, I have a water bottle here from which I'll be drinking water, so it might be a bit boring for some of you guys, but it's very hot out there today, so this will help me be hydrated. And I dropped this on my Instagram stories telling people if they are interested in asking me questions, and some of you guys dropped questions and I have all of them in the notebook over here. I'll also drop the questions somewhere on the screen as I answer them, and let's just get into them right away. Question number 1. Never have I ever cringed reading a book. I have. Okay, so since it is an S, I have to take a sip. There are like multiple instances during which while reading some specific scenes I have cringed. Okay, if the writing is something so boring or something so much on the face, I don't like it then also, and I like visibly cringe then and that. And I was able to think of one book for this question which made me cringe while I was reading it. Okay, I was actually reading this on the train, and multiple times when I was reading different dialogues from this book, I cringed continuously, and it is The Sellout by Paul Beatty. I read this somewhere in the first 2 to 3 months of 2020 when the world was kind of normal, and I should say it was a really bad decision picking this book up for me. The main reason why I read this was because it's a Man Booker Prize winner from 2016, and I thought that the writing in this one will be really good. It was good, okay, the things that the author was trying to address and the way in which he made the characters speak and react and the scenes that he presented, all of them were great, but it has a lot of cussing. Okay, that's one thing which just pissed me out totally. And usually award-winning books like this one have really good writing, which is the only reason I picked them up mainly, and that was a huge disappointment for me in this one, so I did cringe a lot of times reading this one. Question number 2. Never have I ever laughed on a particular part of a book where I was supposed to cry. The answer for this one is definitely never, because very rarely do I laugh or cry while I'm reading a book, but all of them usually happen inside my mind itself. If I physically cry or physically laugh, the scene must be that hilarious or that sad or that heartbreaking in order for me to express it as such. So I'm not that much of an expressive person, but a very emotional person. Very rarely do I just express my feelings just then and there when I'm reading a book, and it doesn't happen that often, so it is definitely a never for this one. Question number 3. Never have I ever faked reading a book which I haven't read. No, because usually I'm very transparent with what I'm reading and what I'm not reading. If I'm not interested in reading a book, however famous or good it is, if I'm not interested in it, I'm not going to pick it up, because that's just the way I am. And if I like a book, even when people don't like it at all, I rave about it, because there are some books which are like that people just don't pick up because some people don't like it. I know that there are many people who are like me in this world, so I always try to express the love that I have for unknown books, and if another person just picks it up and likes it as much as I did, it's always a good thing for me in my heart. And also I don't like faking about the books that I've not read, because it is not going to benefit anyone in any way, especially me. It's also just a complete waste of time. If I lie, I have to remember it. That's a huge tedious job which is definitely not necessary. The next question, this is from my brother, and this: never have I ever manhandled an author in my mind for spoiling a character development and concluding just for sake. Okay, we were having this conversation regarding Game of Thrones in the afternoon when we got the idea to make this video. Okay, he is the person who actually gave me the idea to film something like this because it might be a bit more fun, and I thought of adding you guys into the game also, so I asked the questions from you, and I have manhandled authors in my mind. Okay, rather than saying authors, I can say writers, because we were discussing about Game of Thrones and how it concluded. Okay, we have these amazing character arcs in some books, and there are some instances during which the author just decides to change it up just for finishing the story and providing us with a ribbon wrapped ending, which is not always necessary. Okay, I want the characters to end in the place that they are supposed to end, not just to end in some place because the story has to end. It's not the type of ending that I like, and every time something like that happens in a book or any type of media that I consume, I always not just manhandle but murder the creator again and again in my mind like a psychopath, and it has happened many times, and so I'm going to take a sip of water. Next question. Never have I ever skipped pages or skimmed through a book. I have never done this because I don't like skimming or skipping pages at all, because I think that in order to experience a book completely, you have to read it completely. Okay, if I can just skim through pages and just get the gist of the story, I need not buy books at all. For every book that's been published, I'm sure there is some kind of summary that's available on the internet. I'm a person who has to experience the story as it is that was written by the author, and I don't care how long a book is and how much heavy it is in description or any other type of content. If I want to experience it, I want to experience it as a whole. I don't want chunks and pieces which are just considered to be important and just put them together and see them as a picture. I want to see the entire thing. That's the only way that I like to read books, and I'm not against people who skim through books. Okay, everyone has their own preferences, but my preference is always consuming the entire thing and just enjoying the little nuggets that are available even in those dense, intense areas. And I definitely don't skim through or skip pages while I'm reading a book. Next one. Never have I ever read a hyped book and felt like it's overrated. I've done this many times. Okay, for example, the first book which I talked about itself, The Sellout, it is a really famous book. Many people love it, but I just don't like it at all. The next one is one of the most favorite books. While I read it for the first time, The Alchemist, I just completely did not understand the point of the book. But during my reread, I understood, and I was able to feel the tone of the book and everything that the author was trying to present to me. But apart from that, I have read some very famous books and I've not liked them at all. Just because other people like it doesn't mean that we will like it as well. I don't want anyone to take this on the wrong way, because I am a part of very huge fandoms. For example, Game of Thrones, the Shadowhunter Chronicles, Harry Potter, all of these fandoms I am a part of. But there are also some huge fandoms which I'm not at all a part of, and I'm not interested in getting into also. Just because many people like it doesn't mean that I have to like it or I want to like it. I usually don't feel that much obligated to be a part of something just because many other people are a part of it. And yeah, it's a never for this one. Next, never have I ever misjudged a character. I have misjudged characters many times, so I am going to drink a sip of water now. There are multiple instances during which I have misjudged characters and I've not liked them for a brief portion of a book, and then while many things are revealed about them, I end up liking them. A great example for this one is Jace Valiant or Jace Lightwood from the Mortal Instruments. Okay, I used to not at all like Jace while I read the Mortal Instruments for the first time, and in my reread and during my first time reading the series in the last two books, I was able to understand and appreciate the development of that character. There are multiple things which I don't like about that character even now, and I don't think that I've judged that character in a wrong way at all. Yet I have misjudged characters like him many times in books previously also, and even now I am doing. It's just part of being human and part of being a reader always. Okay, it's like you're experiencing the same thing in different ways each and every time, and that's definitely something which I like also. I don't feel bad for misjudging things because that's how it always is, and it just adds on a different experience for me and helps me to learn some new things about characters and people in general. Next question. Never have I ever slept while reading a book. I have slept while reading books many times. Okay, usually when it's the night time, I don't fall asleep while reading. I don't know why. Okay, it just keeps me awake and makes me want to read a lot more and more, and especially when I read like that, my sleep schedule just gets so much distorted and I feel so tired for the following days. But there's one thing which happens every time. Okay, if I'm reading a book in the afternoon, especially in the bed, I always fall asleep. I don't know why. It's in the afternoon. I don't like sleeping in the daytime. That's just how my body works. I don't like sleeping in the daytime. But if I lie down and read in the afternoon, there's a huge chance that I will go to sleep in some way or the other, and I'll lose my place in the book and I'll not remember what I was actually reading up to the point when I was hitting sleep. So I have slept a number of times while I was in the middle of reading, and it is definitely yes for this one. So I am going to drink. Next question. Never have I ever licked my book while smelling it. This is a really stupid question. I think this is the stupidest question that I got in this lot. Okay, I think the person that asked this question might have thought that it is fun. Okay, it is fun and funny, but who has ever done this in their lifetime? Okay, if anyone has done it, please do let me know down in the comments, because I want to meet this person, at least virtually. I've never done this and I don't think I'll ever do it also. The smell of books is great, but they have ink in them. How can you lick a book? It's just disgusting even to think about. I've never done this. I'll never do this. So yeah, this is a big no for me. Next question. Never have I ever DNFed a book. I have DNFed books many times, so I'm going to drink for this. Even last night, from the time when I'm filming this video, I DNFed the book because I started it. I thought that it would go well with the mood in which I was right then, but just after a few minutes, I just was not at all interested and invested in the story, so I just DNF'd it. And there are multiple instances during which I've picked up 2 or 3 books at the same time and DNF'd all of them all together because I did not latch along with them in some way or the other. I don't talk about the books that I DNF'd in the channel because I don't want my opinion to influence anyone else's opinion while they are going to read a book and not read it just because I DNF'd it. If I end up reading a book, that's when I talk about it usually. I have talked about some DNFs in the past also, but usually I don't, and regularly I don't. But I always do DNF books which I don't like and don't feel connected to, so that's definitely yes. Next question. Never have I ever spilled something on a book accidentally. I know that it happens to many people, but since I don't keep my books all over the house, this is the only place where my books are any time of the day. So I have not spilled anything on my books even accidentally, but I've spilled my books on many things accidentally throughout the house. Okay, the last and final question in this lot. Thrown your book aside bored. Okay, I have never thrown a book aside bored. If I feel bored from a book, I DNF it, just as I said before, or I just put a bookmark and keep it in my shelf because there might be some time in the future when I'm interested in that kind of story and pick it up again. I have thrown books when I've felt something very horrible happened, or when something which I did not even see coming happened. Okay, for example, when I read Gone Girl, halfway through the book, something happens. If you read the book, you know what happens, and I just stood up from the place that I was, and I don't know what happened. I just gave like a fist pump or something, and the book just flew out of my hand, hit the fan, hit the wall, and then fell to the ground. I have thrown books in that way accidentally or out of like overwhelming sense of joy or something, but I've not thrown them away because I'm bored. So it's a no for this question. So yes guys, that's it for today. And if you do want any specific kind of videos related to Instagram that I can do like this one, please do let me know down in the comments below. And if you did enjoy watching today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel because I publish new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.